What's up, guys? Killer here with another Empires and Puzzles video, and I got my man Tccap12 in the building. Oh man, this is gonna be a good one. I'm excited for this. I've been looking forward to this video like all week. Um, Cap, you there?
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just kind of glitched out a little bit. There he goes. So there he is.
Right.
He's working. Today.
Yeah, I'm taking my dog on a walk while we're doing this.
I love it. I love it. Zoom's got so many options to where they allow you to kind of participate virtually anywhere. Um, and I just like it. I love using it in this platform right here. So I'm really excited about that. Man, today we're breaking down the top 10 blues.
Yeah, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, you ready for it?
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna do this one a little different. Cap does not have his list in front of him. I'm gonna go ahead and read them all off the list, and then we're gonna go take turns. I'm gonna give Cap the odd numbers. I'm gonna take the even numbers. So we'll start at number 10. This was a tough decision. We have like one or two people on this list that was like right on the cusp. But we believe this guy's a solid 10 on the list, and that's gonna be Igear. Igear is the hero of the month, like the second tier of these chain links. He came out a little whack, and I think that's why he doesn't get the respect he deserves because he came out with a green shield up. But now he has the share damage, he has defense up, and he heals himself, and he has a heal in his chain link, and he's also a paladin. It comes with great tank stats. That's currently mine at 10. I find Igear to be a catch-22. Every now and then you underestimate him, and he comes back and gets you. And then also, sometimes he's just easy to go through with a couple of green people on your team. Cap, what you got on Igear?
Yeah, I totally agree. So I think that he's completely underrated on offense. I think that if you bring him as an offensive tank, he really can anchor your team, and you don't have to bring a healer if you bring him, because that defense mitigation or that damage mitigation is great, and he really eats up a lot of damage and helps you keep survivability on your team. And I agree with you. It's like the old Igear with the green shield up, and he only shared damage with the two next to him, I believe. Now his stat or his special skill, it's much more usable, and I wouldn't run him on a defense as much anymore, but as an offense tank, he's great. So that's what I got.
There was another kind of play with him when he first came out as to him being the 14-star Titan mitigator for a while. Like, for instance, if you were running, going, I guess you'd use blue against red, you possibly could take Igear to mitigate some of the 14-star damage.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that's still viable. Like, you see people do it all the time with Wilbur on green tanks, or green Titans.
Yeah.
Let's go with number 9. This was a tough one for us. At number 9, we've got Fenrir, and I'll let you take it away.
Okay, so Fenrir, obviously there's a lot of heated debate just because he's new. Not sure if he's proven himself yet or, has stood that test of time. But I think that he heals himself for 50% of his damage dealt, and he also does, he regenerates some mana with his special skill as well.
Yep.
I think that once he gets going, he's kind of like a sole survivor. It takes him a little while to be very, very effective on the board because he deals that 600% damage when he's when the enemies are at 50% or lower on health. But that's like it's a guaranteed kill when he's at that level. When your enemies are at that level, it's a guaranteed kill. And I think he's a finisher. He's kind of a board sweeper because once he goes off, he's going to get back up pretty quickly. And that's why I think he's at number 9. I feel like we went back and forth with some other heroes, but this is what we landed on.
Did you mention the minion healing bonus too? Or the
yeah.
minion mana? So he also has a minion mana gain too. So if you get that Teleria down to 50% and she has one minion on her, it doesn't matter the health of the minion. He's going to get a little bit more mana from the minion kill too. Not to mention, Fenrir kind of has a built-in defense into himself to where when he gets low, about 10 or 5%, he's going to blind the board. excuse me, for
Yeah.
5, or I think it's 5, 10, and 15%, depending on how many people from his realm are there. Not to mention, he's a fighter. So he could potentially come back to life, kill one person, get the mana up for the next hit, get the health up for the next hit, and kill another person and come back on you. And not to
Right.
mention, if he comes back as a fighter, you're blinded again and possibly miss-hit him. Um, the person that we were arguing at this spot at number 9 was with Arthur. And
Right.
I think it's a really tough argument because Arthur does protect himself against the special. He does shield down for the team. He does a massive hit. Not to mention he also has, I think it's one more thing he does. It's drawing a blank.
Yeah,
Uh,
he gives himself. I mean, it's crazy all the utility that Arthur does bring. But I think one of the things, I think they kind of fill that role of like the sole survivor sniper. You know what I
right,
mean? Like,
right.
and I think that what Fenrir is doing better is that he's fast. I think that's the biggest argument. You know?
That's the biggest argument, and you can't argue with a 15K hit at 50%.
No,
Um,
no.
so it's almost like Fenrir doesn't need the shield down, and I think Arthur also does an offensive down to this enemy, right? The one he attacks
Right.
doesn't.
He does the Arthur does the blue defense down to the enemy that he attacks. Um, so I mean, really cool, right? If you don't kill your enemy with Arthur, the enemy is probably going to die very quickly after he's hit.
Right.
But like I said, I think that Fenrir kind of fills that spot a little bit better because he's fast.
Yeah.
That's my argument. And he's going to give himself mana. Like, it helps.
Yeah, the target's defense. So yeah, all right. The target does get an attack down as well. So whereas Arthur does render the guy, if the guy survives from Arthur hit, he does render the guy, not attacking and vulnerable to blues. Fenrir doesn't need that at the 50%. And I think, like, again, with the fast, that's the bigger one. Let's move on. So let's go to number 8, which is mine, right? Because that's the even.
Yeah.
This was a really tough one to place this guy. Mickey is number 8. He's just so. I ain't going to front. I think a lot of people overlook the PVE and the daily Titan function of this game. You play. All right, first is Path of Valor. You have to pretty much PVE either 2/3, if not all, the Path of Valor challenges a day. Not to mention, it's at least, I'd say, 50% of the big challenges are PVE. So with the experience, crafting stuff, summoning, certain stuff, a lot of the summoning coins, all this stuff comes from the PVE part of the game, and that's player versus environment. Mickey is probably the biggest right now, or the most influential player versus environment hero we have in the game. At that 100 and 110% power increase, and it jumps up to like 160%. So you can literally buff your team almost to 160% more damage off the tile. Not to mention he has an innate ability to silence, which is really useful with him. So you get buffed up, you silence them, they can't hit you back, and you hit them even harder. It's really strong. His chain link, I believe, is the mana up, correct?
I'm not completely sure, but that sounds right.
Yeah, because I think it's the mana up because he was right along Seychat, and Seychat's is the mana up. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with Finley. Mickey is the mana up for the chain link, so he can even buff himself to make himself not as slow. He's a barbarian, which is a little bit weird. I was hoping he'd be a little something different, but he looks barbaric, so I'm fine with that. He's resistant to silence, so he can silence you, but you can't silence him back. He's gonna get his mana. I'm really impressed with how Mickey has made such a splash on Titans, and that's what I got for him. Where are you at with him?
I'm with you. I think that so a lot of argument about this hero. He is slow, and that turns a lot of people off. But I don't really think that you're using him that much in raids. I mean, you're not going to use him as much in raids and wars. I mean, he's definitely usable in that area, but I think that where he really shines, like you said, is events or the maps, and also Titans. We all know and love Tarlac, and Mickey is the blue Tarlac without a heal, essentially. And he's silencing the Titan, and he is making your attack buff crazy good, right? And not to mention he buffs, he stacks with like a Zemkita or any other hero that's doing attack up, he's going to
Right.
stack with, right?
Right.
So I think that he's underrated, but once you spend the scopes on him, I think you're going to use them very much.
Absolutely.
Mine is still at 370, and I'm waiting for one scope to ascend him next. I mean, this is a hero that if you're going to play in the top 100, these recruiters are going to be asking you, do you have Mickey? Do you have Tarlag? Do you have, Ranveer? These are heroes that are crucial for alliance play, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. The last thing I'd say about Mickey, I think you kind of nailed it with the Titan thing, is no, you're not using them on raids, you're not using them on that, but like for instance these events, PvE is again such a big part of the game. Uh, I just I really enjoy him. As far as like, I wish I'd have got him. I've played with him on other people's accounts. I just haven't played on mine, but I've seen his power.
Right.
Let's go with number 7, which is yours, and number 7 is going to be Ariel. Ariel is listed at number 7.
All right, listen. So Ariel, here's the thing. A lot of people are in love with Lady Woolerton right now as one of the strongest healers in the game. I really still think that Ariel is giving Lady Woolerton a run for her money as far as the best healer in the game, period. Because at the speed of average, Ariel is giving you a pretty good heal, a significant heal, right? And she's cleansing, and then you're also getting a quicker mana regeneration after she goes off. So after she goes off, she's basically fast, right? So I bring Ariel, if it's a blue heavy raid, I bring Ariel every time, right? Just because she has so much utility on offense. I think, she hasn't quite been the hero that we may have thought on defense, but really you're using the cleanse to keep your team rolling on offense. So I think that she honestly still is one of the best healers, if not the best healer in the game. I just think she has so much utility. So I'll turn it over to you. What do you think?
It's interesting you said that, to where she could possibly become fast. So the current picture I have up of Ariel is Ariel with 20 emblems on her, and everybody's like, "Why did you put 20 emblems on Ariel? Why would you go that hard? You didn't need the last 250 or whatever it is, 250 on the cleric." Well, the last 250 on the cleric I think is increased healing. So now, at least for Ariel, I'm increasing her healing by additional 4% plus the fast mana troop with a 15% at level 30. So now Ariel's got to increase 19% to herself. So now she's healing herself approximately somewhere around 60%. With the going down the mana tree, at I think level 19 is 2% increased 2% increased mana. So now it's an argument to say after her buff goes off that she's not a fast healer as well. So another things people sleep on Ariel too is her family bonus. She works really well with Poseidon, Ursina, and Atomos. And if you don't have those, and let's say you had those and you wanted to add another one, Trident that has increased healing is not a bad option in there for just.
Triton's attack is crazy good. So, I mean, he's still a very usable 4-star on a raid.
And now you're talking about adding about another, I think it's 30% to increase healing with Triton going off first. And also that gives you the 5 family bonus for the increased defense. So now you've got a defense increase of 20% and increased healing if you happen to run that family tree bonus. Don't sleep on the 2 that they put with her for the family's tree bonus, which is Poseidon and Ursina. If you have 2 of those on 2 with her, that's another, I think it's 15% increase. So
which don't forget, like a month ago, Ursina was one of the best tanks in the game.
Right.
So now she's still, these other heroes, Poseidon and Ursina, are still very usable.
Right.
Ursina and Poseidon with an Ariel is a great combo.
And now you've got that increased defense, and now the healing's faster, and the mana's increased on that team. So that's why Ariel's. I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. No. I'm feeling you with the Lady Wilton wave. She's an excellent 4-star, but don't realize she is a 4-star, not a 5-star.
Right.
All right. At number, I think that was number 7. Okay, number 6. Yeah. So number 6 is you. No, number 6 is me. Excuse me. We got a Lassie. So Lassie got on the list at number 6. I like Lassie here at number 6. She is prior to, I think she's the hardest hitting blue in the game, besides Fenrir at 50%.
Yeah.
Naturally, Alassie's snipe is harder hitting than everybody else's. You can make
Hmm.
an argument for maybe Arthur, and you can make an argument for maybe Alice, but I believe Alassie hits harder. She
Yeah.
also buffs herself 5% after she does her initial special for 6 turns. And at her speed with being an archer right now,
Yeah.
she will get another snipe off with that 5% on, so she's going to hit you harder. She also reduces the mana, which we've seen how effective that is with Telluria.
Yeah.
No, her mana is not her mana slow is not as much as Telluria, but it does affect 3. With her being an archer, she can shoot right through you, and she
Right.
does have an innate defense in her, which is adding that 5% to her current defense. So if I was running a Lassie going archer, she's my main archer. I would go
Yeah.
probably attack and defense to increase the buff she's going to already buff up herself.
Yeah.
Um, I will say the reason she is lower on the list probably than she should be is because she is an archer too. It's just so
Yeah.
many archers in the game. And with
Right.
that statement, I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah, I think with the current setup of defenses, you're seeing a lot of people run Sachat on the wing, and I think a lot of people's emblems are going to Sachat right now, or even Finley. And I just think that Alassi is great, but I think when you talk about these other archers out there, Rangers, I should say, they are just a little bit more. They have a little bit more oomph.
Right.
Um, so I think that's the only reason that Elassie is a little further down. Um,
Yeah.
if if those heroes weren't there, she'd definitely be in the top 5 easy. Uh, but yeah, it's a new day and it's a new game, and these other heroes are taking a little bit more of a precedent, if that makes sense.
Yep.
That's the only negative thing I can say about her is that.
Yeah. I'd say this. A lot of people are gonna see these videos and you're gonna see the snipers in the top 5, top 4. And the reason that is, guys, is because when you get to the rating level and the war level that TC and I have been on, as far as being in 7D and getting that top 100, being in these high end alliances, you'll notice where healing and building a team that makes sense doesn't work as much as just killing your opponent.
Yeah.
I currently was running an all sniper team prior to adding Telly to my roster, and it wasn't doing that bad. So snipers are real relevant. If you have snipers and you're like, well, I have this sniper, but this hero's better, but putting snipers and snipers together really boosts them in the rankings because that they do
Mm.
so much damage on the defense. Um,
That's why you're going to see a lot of top tier players. They're not going to have a healer in their defensive team. It's just a lot of them will just be all offense.
yep, all
So,
offense. Yep. And number 5, this is going to be yours. Number
yep.
5, we've got Frida.
All right. So, Frida, listen, she's average, right? And that's why many of you might think she should be lower. But the thing about Frida is that she is making every other blue hero an absolute rock star. So if you've got Frida, don't sleep on her. She debuffs your enemy team. She does a pretty significant blue shield down, like a blue defense down. Um, and she's got pretty tanky stats, or she can be on your defense team, pretty usable on your defense team if you want to have her there. But where she really shines is when you sync her up with another sniper. It sets up a guaranteed, kill shot, and she's very, very relevant. That's a big meta right now is color specific defense down. So I would not sleep on Frida if you have her.
I think something that's slept over Frida is two things: her resistance and her class. Frida
Yeah,
has an innate 25% buff being a paladin. It can go off all the time, and it goes off all the time. Look at Telluria's. Hers goes off, Frida goes off just as much. Her resistance to offensive down makes her really strong against greens, which is
right.
actually her weak color. You've got Kingston's out. You've got who else does Horkle. It's somebody else I'm missing that just does offense down. Um, that I actually use, but mainly Kingston would be the one that's number one right now that does offensive down. Frida resists that. Horko, Frida, which are strong against her, but she's still going to hit that base damage against them. She doesn't lose her 290 attack.
Yeah.
It's flat across the board. Also, that shield at a 54% down is still strong for the. Still strong against blue, and her chain is shield up against green. So she's
Yeah.
kind of built that secondary tank against green. If you're not running a
Yeah.
gear for blue tank running alliances, Frida is not a bad option because she protects herself against what she's weak against. Green
Yeah.
comes with a lot. Before Green got crazy and was able to do everything, their main thing was offensive down, I believe. You have a lot of green heroes with offensive down. I just can't think of any other one. Oh, that's who it is. It's Zelin and it's Harkle and it's Kingston. Those three
Yeah.
have offensive down, and she's
Right.
not. She's resistant to that. So she's
Right.
built. She's built for the weather. I like Frida a lot. That's what I got on Frida. You got anything else?
Yeah, she's also a hero that you're going to take on every red Titan. Every red Titan, you're going to be bringing Frida with you.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's going to, just set up your other heroes to be rock stars. That's how I would word it. That's why she's so great. She's not the shining star, right? If that makes sense. But she sets every other blue hero up to be a shining star. You know, like if you hit with a lassie goes from, a pretty good hero to a great hero if Frida has already gone off. So that's why Frida's at number 5.
I would say this too to add to that point. You talk about Fenrir being stronger at that 50% mark. Well, to get to that 50% mark faster, if Fenrir happens to be up and gets mana back from, I don't know, killing a minion or hurting a hero or whatever when he goes off, um, Frida will make that 50% come a lot faster if Fenrir goes off twice while that buff is up. So
Oh yeah.
then I've seen a hit with Fenrir hitting me with a blue shield down, and trust me, it's not pretty. Let's
No.
get to number 4. Number 4, I we this is TC Cap's little girlfriend right here. He put Athena up here at number 4. So he's got Athena above Frida, which is contradictory to my list of hero of the months. And I will harp on that a little bit. It does make sense. Athena is overall going to work on every team, whereas Frida, like he just said, was going to every red Titan and is going against every red team. Athena could possibly go to every Titan for the defensive down. She has a stacking defensive down. There is no chain link. She is an archer. She does have a higher hit in the middle and fall off damage to nearby enemies, but she has a potential of getting that defensive down for 4 turns. So what's that? 16 plus 41, making it a 57% defensive down at the last turn on her defensive down. And that can technically happen on the first turn if you put 4 tile into somebody. So you could technically right off after she goes off get somebody to 50. What did we say? 57% defensive down, and that's a really strong down. Like you can get 8 like that. I have a lot of emblems on her. I did go the attack defensive route, so you see mine right here at 18 emblems. She is archer. She actually does bypass a lot of shields often. And I actually take the risk sometimes. I don't even care. You've got to see me play plenty of raids where I just go straight to the reflective shield. You're like, that's gonna kill you. I'm like, all right, whatever. So she really works out for me because when she goes off, I'm like, yay, that saved my life. I'll pass it to you, TC.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the reason that I want to put her at 4 is because, and you know how slow SG can be on changing up the balance of a hero, right?
Right.
How long it takes them to buff or nerf a hero. Well, listen, Athena has been nerfed 3 times. Anytime that a hero has gotten that much attention, you know she's doing something right.
Yeah.
And the thing to me that puts her above Frida, like you said, is that you can use her in any situation. She's going to set your team up to do well. You know, a lot of people are on the specific colored defense down. Just general defense down is still very strong.
Right.
And like you said, she's going to work well with almost any team. You're still going to bring her to Titans, and you may even bring her to off color titans too, right?
Yep.
And I think she's hitting a little harder, right? 305 versus Athena, or I mean, Frida's 290.
Yep.
So you've got a little bit harder of a hit, and then she's stacking defense down. I don't think there's another hero. There's plenty of other heroes that do defense down, but there's no other hero that does stacking defense down where every time they get hit, their defense drops more. So that's why I like her um, above Frida. And, she's an oldie but a goodie. That's how I'll say it.
Yeah, I saw your video recently against the I think it was the blue Titan. You took green. That's actually where my Athena goes into. I actually put Athena on blue Titans with my green team. So where you
Yeah.
would substitute Buddy for the defensive down, I run 4-1 and clearly Tarlek, Gregarion, Kingston, Evelyn, but then I put Athena there for the defensive down. So she's my defensive down hero versus like a Cutchin or Wilbur or any other defensive down hero that I use for other Titans. Vivica, there you go. That's my other one.
Yeah.
So that's Athena. Let's go with number 3, which is yours. Number 3 is Alice, and I'll let you take it away. I have nothing but good things to say about this one.
Yeah. I mean, Alice, so she's a fast sniper. She hits like a truck, and then she has a stacking offense down for one hero. And the crazy thing about it, I think this is specific to Wonderland. So if that enemy, if they get healed during the time that this attack down is going on, that turn duration is reset. So I can't remember what the duration is, but it doesn't even matter, right? So like if you have a hero that's just gotten hit by Alice, you're gonna want to heal, right? And
Right.
so their attack is down, and then on top of that, you're gonna want to heal to make your hero survive. And so what's gonna happen is you're gonna be in this chain of attack down forever, basically.
Yeah.
And it's making one of your heroes mostly useful, or I mean, useless.
Yep.
And that's why Alice is number 3. I know that everybody's got different opinions, but Anchor, he rates her at an A plus, and I think for good reason. And that's why I put her at number 3.
Wonderland is one of the only teams from the events that you can run a rainbow team, and I recommend if you have the Wonderland heroes, run them in a rainbow team.
Yeah.
You have a crit and a mana increase from their family bonus. Mana increase at 5 Heroes of Wonderland with Alice pretty much makes her very fast. Jabberwocky very fast. White Rabbit very fast. Then you have Hatter and Queen to help you out with negating that defense, and then returning the buffs on. She goes really well with that group. You could put Rabbit in front of her for the defensive down, Alice after him, and that's pretty much a one shot. You could put, if Hatter steals some buff for that, that's almost definitely a one shot. Another thing that makes Alice so much better than the other class, I believe she is the best rogue we have in the game right now. It's arguably you could say that Marjana's up there, but Marjana's dated. Alice has.
For sure. Alice is definitely better rogue.
Yeah. Alice has the stats to go with it. A lot of the rogues are lackluster because they're half snipers or they're old sniper. Kiana would be the second one that I would say is close, but she's not Marjana's sniping ability, and she's not Alice's stats ability. Or excuse me, she has Alice's stats, but she doesn't have the snipe because her snipe is really low. But Alice, you don't have that issue. She's going to dodge. She dodges often, and then she's going to come back and smack you in the face. She has the Wonderland bonus. What else was I going to say? I'm losing my train of thought. I just really like her as being a rogue. Definitely the number 1 rogue in the game. So when you get Alice, realize that if you're not using any of your rogue emblems, this is the rogue to actually put your emblems on. She makes a great spot. If you don't have that, we'll talk about who you don't have. This is where your substitute would come in. At number 2, we had to put her up here. Vale is at number 2. This chick has taken the Empires and Puzzles raid defense, war defense by storm. I've come to the conclusion that Vela and Telluria are married. They love each other. They've been in a long-lasting relationship. It's like you see that couple with the 50-year anniversary and they made it work and they're still smiling at each other. That's Vela to Telluria, and that's Telluria to Vela. Man,
I totally agree.
How do you put 4 abilities on someone who's fast and then give them a chain link plus make them a druid and then make them resistant to minion stuff. Now her resistant is probably the weakest thing about her because if you're not running a minion team, she clearly doesn't have anything to do with minions. But on the flip side of that, green, which is her offense, which is her weak color, does do a lot of minions. You have Mother North, Tellurrea, you have Lady of the Lake, you have Buddy, you have it's somebody else that makes minions. Anyway, it's green. You have a lot of green minion making heroes. So she's resistant to the green minion making heroes. So now she's resistant to her weak colors minions. Sweet.
Yeah.
Plus, she's a druid, so she makes minions. What?
Yeah.
So you hit her with some ghost tile. Now this chick has another 500 or 200 health on her. Debuffs red offense. Attacks stronger against red on offense. Has a hit, has a dot. Chain link of chain link of crit. So she buffs herself even more.
Yeah.
Total package. Yeah. I'm not gonna front. The crit hero of the months are, I think, slightly underrated from the chain link. 10% crit was a little bit more than what people realize. I don't recommend running a crit troop on her because with her hit and dot damage, once you get to that 10% on a hero, that tile going into them is going to crit automatically. So she's right there. She works great offense, defense. I can see you running her on a Titan team. I can see you run her PvE. She's a well-rounded, all-around hero. I don't have anything negative to say about Vale. I'm just mad I didn't level her before I did some other heroes, but super strong hero. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, she's a beast right now with Tellurrea. That's the main thing. So Tellurrea is difficult enough, and then think about her being even more difficult with Vale right next to her, going off every few turns and making your red heroes useless. Because her negative 54% attack on reds, it's crazy, right? So it makes it pointless to stack reds against Tellurrea almost, right?
Yep.
And she has a dot damage. The dot is not very high, but it's there and it's annoying, right? And so, I mean, you have so many problems with Vale, so many problems that you have to deal with if she goes off, right? If you don't have Mitsuko going up against Tellurrea and Vale together, good luck. That's all I gotta say about it. Good luck.
And I'll second that. Okay, let's say you don't have Mitsuko. If you don't have Zimkaitha to go off right behind Vale, good luck. Because there's no red dispel, really. I mean, like, you need to bring Regard almost. It's either Regard, Zimkaitha, or Kutchin, or somebody to just negate what she's going to do to your reds. Like, she's just really strong, man. And honestly, with the way reds are set up right now, there's not a lot to really combat against her. I think they tried to do that with John F. It just didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to. But not here nor there. Let's go to your number one. And I think everybody knows what's coming.
Everybody knows what's coming. Number one is Finley, right?
Yeah. You needed a list for that, did you?
No. And here's why. So when Finley goes off, he's dealing damage, and if it is a buffed team, if you're hitting a team with buffs, he's gonna, do this thing that we have all seen with what are the other heroes, Missandra and Captain D. Any one of these heroes with a rapier, they're going to be doing this multi-hit where they have they bounce around, right, and hit. Pretty much, he's going to be hitting your whole team, and it's for like what, 300 something damage or 285% damage. What is it?
It just keeps going. It's 385 damage, but it just It don't seem like 385 damage. It seems like way more.
It feels that way, right? And then, too, so if your heroes had buffs when he hits you, he's going to...
Say that one more time. You got it broken up.
Sorry, I said if your team is buffed when he hits you, you're going to be getting hit multiple times. And then, on top of that, you're getting defense down, general defense down.
I hate this guy. I go front. Vale is annoying. Finley is beyond. Like, the best thing about Finley is when Mitsuko has her buff up. That's the best thing about Finley for me, because I don't have him. Clearly, if I had him and he's going off, clearly he's a beast. I will say this. As far as archers go, I believe Finley is the number one archer in the game. Hands down. It could be argument said Seychat might be able to compete against that, but I think Finley is the number one archer in the game right now. You broke up. You're Cap, you broke up. We can't hear you. I don't know if your headphones are out. Oh no. There we go. Now you're back. Oh, hold on. You lost again. Let's wait for Cap to get back. Oh no.
Almost done.
All right. What
Hey,
happened?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, my headphones must have been messing up.
Yeah.
So I just think that the reason that he's so great is I think you were saying that Seshat could possibly rival him as an archer. I think Seshat is a strong number 2, but this guy gets number 1.
Yeah, I think he gets number 1 too. I think and Seychat is strong, but the problem with Seychat is she's a jack of all trades and a master of none. Finley is a master of the splash damage. I really almost wish they would fix his animation because I feel like the way his animation is that he kind of goes back and forth between heroes, but it's really the defense going back. But it looks like you're getting hitting multiple times, but you're not. You're only getting hit that one time, but and then the defensive down is crazy. Another thing to not forget about him is that even if you have a defensive or a buff up, he can with the archer, he can technically bypass through that. But his bonus as being a pirate is also mana. I know it's mana in something, but the key one there is mana. Let me go find Captain Kestrel real quick so I can tell you his other half of that buff, and I'll harp on that for a minute because with him having mana on his family bonus, um, there we go, right here. So it's mana and attack. Oh my goodness! Like he's designed to even do more. So with mana and attack being his family bonus, you have 2 purples of Sargoso and Maria, and then you have Kestrel and Lady Locke, and then Finley. Finley becomes not just fast; he becomes very fast with 5. Let's break it up. All right, sorry. There we go. All right. So I don't know if you're breaking up or not.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but it's breaking up pretty bad. With his there you go. With his family bonus, he becomes very fast and he has increased attack. And that attack goes all the way up to a It's breaking up again. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still breaking up. It's all good. It's 15%. So his attack goes up pretty high. He's pretty strong. Yeah, mana's up 12%. So that's a big increase on the mana. You got anything else on Finley?
Am I coming in good?
No, not at all.
All right, hold on. It's better.
Yeah, that's better.
All right, I don't know what's up with my headphones. I thought it was my internet. It's just my headphones. So if you're looking at my forehead, I'm like trying to talk in my phone. I agree with Killa. Like he's just if he goes off more than once. I mean, if he goes off once, it's basically over unless you have a bunch of specials stacked up to help you out. If he goes off more than once, it's over. You know. Over.
Yeah, and attacking the mana up with his family bonus is just making him even crazier. That's all I got, man. I think that's a big breakdown of this list. That's the top 10 blues. I think you could maybe argue 1 or 2 on there, but for the most part, that's a solid list, man. Super excited that TC was able to do this with me, man. We got to do more collaborations like this. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people where to find you at, man?
Hey, all right. So, Killa convinced me to do a YouTube channel. So I'm Thx Tccap12 on YouTube as well. Please check me out there and prove Killa right that I'm the man to have another YouTube channel in this crowded space of YouTubers with empires and puzzles. And then I'm also Thx Tccap12 number 2388 on Discord, Thx Tccap12 online, the same name in game as well.
Yup. Well, guys, that's all we got. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. TC, appreciate you doing this with me, man. Once again, yeah, man, no problem. And if you got this recorded, drop it whenever you want to. I got another one coming, so I'll drop this one probably that next week. But all right, I'm signing off. Kill out.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Peace.